Hello everyone, this is Rob and welcome back to Media Awareness and my thoughts on the new Yes album coming out on May 19th, 2023. Before I go any further, I'd like to ask you all to please consider subscribing to my channel and becoming part of my YouTube family. I'd love to have you. Also, if you could like, share, and comment on this video, it would be greatly appreciated. In addition to that, you'll find the link to my Patreon page in the description, and I'd also appreciate you checking that out and consider supporting this channel, which will ensure media awareness's everlasting longevity here on the YouTube platform for years to come, hopefully. So, I'm going to link a video below with Steve Howe talking about the new album by Yes, Mirror to the Sky. And I found it rather insightful, and it kind of sparked me to do this video I'm doing right now for all of you out there. Now, at the current time, Steve Howe is the longest member of Yes going back in their history. He is not the original guitarist, and for those of you who want to argue that in the comments section, you're more than welcome to. But history has proven that Steve Howe entered the band for their third album, the Yes album, which was not their debut album. The debut album was simply titled Yes, followed by the second album, Time and a Word, followed by the third album, the Yes album. So Steve Howe is not Yes's original guitar player. I've seen a lot of supposed Yes fans getting this wrong in videos, and it really irritates me. So I had to set that straight right away. With that out of the way, the longest member prior to his passing was Chris Squire, who actually spent more time in Yes than Steve Howe, playing on every Yes album. But sadly, Chris is no longer with us. And we have Steve Howe on guitar, and John Davidson on lead vocals, and on instead of John Anderson, and on bass guitar, replacing Chris Squire, is my friend Billy Sherwood, who is doing a bang-up job with the band, and the most current single really impressed me. So, with this upcoming album, Mirror to the Sky, Steve Howe was talking about some topics in terms of writing the songs, production, and the current lineup as it is now. And I think that Yes has sort of reached a second coming, if you will. I I do think that Heaven on Earth was a floundering kind of album for the band. It was John Davidson's first outing as lead vocalist on a recording of Yes, to my knowledge, at that time. And it was Chris Squire's last album as bassist. So it is a special album in that regard, but the album itself didn't have anything that stood out for me, personally. The album following that was called The Quest. It came out a couple years ago. And The Quest saw the debut of Billy Sherwood as bassist full time. And I think he really did a great job. Yeah, he had big shoes to fill. Chris Squire was a legend, and I think Billy is doing a really great job on bass guitar. And this iteration of Yes that is set to put out this new album on May 19th of this year as I said, it's sort of like a second coming, if you will, because it's really uh, it's a different yes, but it is the same in spirit and in delivery in terms of the material, in my personal opinion. I know a lot of people don't feel it's the same without John Anderson. And it's not. It's not the same without Chris Squire. However, whenever a member leaves or is replaced or passes away, in the case of Chris and now Mike for that matter, um, a band is never the same. And it takes on a different feel, a different vibe. From what I can gather so far, the production on this new album is quite stellar. I like what I'm hearing, and everything is crisp, everything is really punchy in the mix, and everything is really well written. And I want to say that this new album is, I'm really am looking forward to Mirror to the Sky, as the quest was good, but this seems like it's going to be even better. And I think the quest was untested waters, if you will, because they didn't have Chris, and Alan was not doing too well at that point in time. He was still with the band. He still listed as playing drums on the quest, but his health was declining, and that was known for quite some time now. So, with this new yes that we have on Mirror to the Sky, I really am optimistic that this is going to be a great album. I love the first single, and it's called Cut from the Stars. I have a reaction to that on my channel here. You can feel free to scan through my videos and please check that out. Let me know your thoughts on that. But Steve Howe in this video talks about the album and talks about the songs and the writing and how he has learned himself how to sort of take different people's ideas and sort of filter what works and what doesn't. And I think that really is an art form in and of itself, and I think he's really doing a good job of that. The new album, of course, features John Davidson on lead vocals, and he is a very good vocalist. I was very critical of him when Heaven on Earth was released. However, he has really kind of filled out that role of vocalist, and his lyrical composition, along with Billy Sherwood, excuse me, is really nice. They have a good chemistry in terms of writing together. I like what I'm hearing. As I said, I feel that this is going to be a step in the right direction for Yes. And there is, uh, Steve Howe alluded to, they're bringing Epic on this album, clocking in at roughly 14 minutes, I believe he said. And before some of you say, oh my gosh, that's a long time. It's not. Believe me, it's not. When a song is, say, 14 minutes long, 20 minutes long, 32 minutes long, they aren't, the song isn't the same repetitive thing over and over again. These songs aren't really songs, they are pieces, as in the way a classical song is not referred to as a song, it's referred to as a piece. And these pieces, if you will, go through different moods, different segments, different movements in the manner that a classical piece would. And it's called an epic because it's longer than the average song. 14 minutes to me really isn't an epic because I've heard longer songs. I've heard songs that span an entire album and are comprised of 12 or so segments. Transatlantic is a perfect example of that with their album The Whirlwind. The point is that a 14-minute long song is, yes, it is a short epic, but it's digestible, I think, for the average audience, even though you might not think so by sort of clocking that out in your head if all you're used to is, say, 4 or 5 minute long pop songs. It is by far one of the shorter epics I've been exposed to in my life. And it's one of, I would say, Yes's shorter epics as well, because they've had longer pieces in their history. Also, Steve Howe did describe that the song itself goes through these different sections and has a classical break in the middle with an actual classical orchestra. Now, Yes has been known to use classical orchestra arrangements in the past. They did an entire album with a classical orchestra called Magnification that featured John Anderson on lead vocals. Prior to that, they had done Time and a Word, which also featured an orchestra. However, the notable difference between Time and a Word and Magnification is Time and a Word also featured a keyboardist on the album, whereas I do not believe Magnification had any keyboards other than the actual classical arrangement. I could be mistaken, but I think that is how it went down. But with all this said, Mirror to the Sky is really looking promising as a new Yes album. And I really wanted to put this out there because people that are very anti new and simply want to rely on the moldy oldies and not give new things a chance, you should give this new album a chance. And if you're going to see Yes, you should know that Yes now is not the Yes from yesteryear. They are different people, but they are still bringing us great music. And in most Yes documentaries, the band has said, almost all members have all said the same thing, that they believe that Yes will continue on into the future, much the way that orchestras can continue on, changing members, adding members as time progresses, and Yes will extend far into the future. I kind of believe that to some degree, being that that is what's happening. But we shall see as time goes on. For right now, I'm looking forward to May 19th and the release of Mirror to the Sky by Yes in this year 2023. This is Rob with Media Awareness, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the new Yes album. As I stated, there will be a link to this video with Steve Howe in my description as well, and I would urge you all to click on that for some insightful information from Steve. He's really an intellectual and presents things very well in terms of the new album and what we can all expect from that. I hope to see you all soon. Please like, share, and comment. Subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.